Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're embarking on a quiet journey, a slow drift back in time to the forgotten corners of early America. We'll be exploring the stories of towns that once buzzed with life, places that were centers of hope and industry, but have since faded from our maps and, for many, from our memory. These aren't just ghost towns in the spooky sense. They are echoes of a past that shaped the nation we know today. Imagine stepping into a world where the only sounds are the wind rustling through tall grass and the distant call of a bird. In front of you stand the weathered skeletons of buildings, each one holding a story. These were homes, shops, and churches. This was where dreams were born and lives were lived. Now, you might think, Jamestown isn't forgotten. And you're right, the original fort site is a celebrated historical landmark. But what about the bustling city that grew around it? Today, walking through the archaeological site, you can trace the faint outlines of streets and foundations. It's a powerful reminder that even the most important places can be reclaimed by nature, their stories buried just beneath the surface, waiting for us to listen. Next, we travel north to the rugged coast of Maine, to a place once known as St. Croix Island. In 1604, years before Jamestown or Plymouth, a group of French explorers led by Pierre Duguay Sieur de Monsa attempted to establish a year-round settlement here. The following spring, the survivors dismantled their buildings and moved across the bay to Port Royal, in what is now Nova Scotia. St. Croix was abandoned, a tragic first chapter in European settlement in the north. Today, the island is a protected international historic site. It's a somber, beautiful place where history feels incredibly close. Unlike our previous stops, Pit Hole wasn't a colonial settlement. It was a product of America's first oil boom. In 1865, the discovery of oil here sparked a frenzy. Witinayara, wild, chaotic city of 15,000 people erupted from the wilderness. Pit Hole was the epitome of a boom town, a place of immense wealth and even greater ambition. But the boom was as brief as it was spectacular. Today, Pit Hole's a ghost town in the truest sense. A visitor's center stands near a quiet meadow where a grid of mown paths traces the old streets. Small signs mark where grand hotels and bustling theaters once stood. It is a striking lesson in the fleeting nature of fortune and how quickly a landscape can be transformed and then forgotten by the rush for resources. Our journey now takes us south, to the low country of South Carolina, to the site of Dorchester. Founded in 1696 by Congregationalists from Massachusetts, this town was meant to be a trading hub on the Ashley River. For a time, it succeeded. Dorchester became a bustling inland port with a prominent church, a fort, and a thriving community. By the time of the American Revolution, the town was already in steep decline. What remains today is a state historic site. You can walk among the ruins of the old brick church bell tower and see the impressive tabby walls of the fort. It's a peaceful, almost haunting place. A quiet monument to a community that tried to build a new life in a challenging, unforgiving environment. From the southern swamps, we venture into the rugged mountains of North Carolina to look for the lost colony of Roanoke. Their governor, John White, sailed back to England for supplies, but was delayed for 3 years by war with Spain. When he finally returned in 1590, he found the settlement completely deserted. There were no signs of a struggle, no bodies, just the word Croatoan carved into a post and crow carved into a tree. For over 400 years, historians and archaeologists have searched for answers. While recent discoveries of pottery and artifacts suggest some settlers may have assimilated into local Native American communities, the fate of the main colony remains a profound mystery. Standing on the shores of Roanoke Island today, you can't help but feel the weight of that question, lost to the winds and the waves. Founded in 1703 by French Jesuits and traders, Kaskaskia was once the most important settlement in the region, a thriving cultural and political center. But the mighty Mississippi is a restless giant. Throughout the 19th century, the river's channels shifted, slowly eating away at the land the town was built on. In 1881, a massive flood broke through, changing the river's course permanently and completely inundating the old town site. The town was forced to relocate, and all that remains of the original Kaskaskia is its cemetery, which was painstakingly moved to a nearby bluff, and a single church bell, known as the Liberty Bell of the West, now housed in a small shrine. It's a dramatic story of a town not just abandoned, but physically erased from the map by the raw power of nature. They remind us that history is not just a collection of dates and famous names. It's a living, breathing thing, etched into the landscape itself. Taking the time to seek out these quiet places, to walk their overgrown paths and listen to the silence, is a way of connecting with those who came before us. It's a reminder that nothing is permanent, and that every place, no matter how small or remote, has a story worth telling. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey through time. We'll see you on the next adventure.